two excellent high school graduates. One, an undocumented graduate from a high school in Phoenix. The other, a citizen from Colorado. Both want to go to the University of Arizona. I've been watching the commercials, and I'm very interested in, should they pay the same amount? Should the tuition be different from someone from Colorado than someone who is not a citizen of the United States?
Thanks. Before answering that question, I just need to address something that was mentioned. It said that I voted against the Keystone Pipeline. Let me say I voted for the Keystone Pipeline probably a few dozen times by now. It was attached in one bill to a bill that added about $130 billion to our deficit. And I voted against it as a rider. I voted against the bill, it was just as a rider. So you can't just take one vote like that and assume that somebody is against something. With regard to your question, and it is a good one, I don't think any of us, certainly not me, wants to blame a child who was brought here by his parents, his or her parents, and what kind of pickle they're in now. They don't have a country. We've got to deal with that somehow in a humane, reasonable manner. The problem is, right now, the president has put forward a solution that is hardly that. It was just a political move meant to put the Republicans in Congress in a box. He should have come to Congress and actually sat down and said, what can we do for these kids? They've got to be dealt with. Nobody wants to punish that child, but you need to do it in a way that doesn't offer the wrong incentives to allow such behavior by their parents or other people as well. So you point your finger at a big problem, and anybody who says that that's a simple problem to deal with, just force those kids to go back or whatever, I say you can't fault those kids for their parents' decision, but you have to fix it in a way that doesn't make the problem worse.
You still have 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, one way, Marco Rubio is putting together a proposal. There are other ways that we can allow them to stay in school, but not put them on a path towards citizenship. I think that that needs to be explored. But I don't want to punish that child for what their parents did. And so proposals are being put on the table, and let's look at those.
All right, one more reminder, and Mr. Card wasn't here. We're not here to hear about the other guy. We're here to hear about you and what you can do.
I think records are and issues that are appropriate, Malcolm, in a forum. I think people deserve to have the transparency of issues and understand those. I believe that there is no path to amnesty, that we are a country based on the rule of law, that our federal government has failed us at the border. And therefore, there are 5 things I think we ought to do. Number 1, increase the troops on the border. Number 2, finish building the fence, whether that be a physical fence or a technological fence. And if it takes 2 fences, build 2 fences. And if it takes President Obama's moat, build President Obama's moat. Build what it takes. The third thing is, give local law enforcement officials the authority and the ability, the tools, to enforce the law. For far too long, we have had local officials, and we as a state have borne the increased costs of illegal immigration. I have not been a proponent of amnesty for the last 10 years and swapped my position after I decided I was running for Senate. Right now, we also need to, because immigration is not an issue of race or color or creed. I'm the oldest of 8 children. I have 6 adopted brothers and sisters. If you look, I'm the one who looks adopted with this red hair. 5 of those children are Brazilian. They went through the legal immigration system. I understand very well how broken and messed up the legal immigration system is, but you don't fix it by violating other laws. We need to enforce on our employers, and by the way, you've probably seen the false attacks against me on some Subway stores that I own 3% of, and that they, before E-Verify, went through and did exactly what the government required and were fined for improper paperwork, not for hiring anyone. We need right now to have a system. We need E-Verify to be even better, to where employers are not the magnets coming across the border, not drawing people. And the last thing is, we need to certainly enforce and not have guns shipped across the border by our government to shoot back at our good border agents.
Okay, here we go again. Read something to you. Let's see, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15. This is Congress's job, by the way. To provide for calling forth militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. How are we doing so far? We've been invaded by well over 20 million illegals. The gentleman asked a question about should a student be allowed to go to school. I'm going to give it to you this way. Any of you ever watched American Greed? No, okay. It's a program about Americans who do stupid things like stock market, Ponzi schemes, and so on, Ponzi schemes. Look at it from this perspective. This gentleman's had a stock company. It wasn't real, and he spent all the money on doing all kinds of things. So he violated the law. He's an American citizen, by the way, as his wife is and children. When they finally caught him, he ended up only getting 12 years. He even stole 40 or 50,000 from his mother. But he got 12 years. He should have got life for that one. He got 12 years. His sons and his wife got put on the street. Now, these are American citizens that were not allowed to benefit from the violation of their father, a law. He violated a law to give them those good things. The people that come in this country illegally are violating our laws. For their husbands, wives, children to benefit from the violation is unconscionable if we are indeed a nation of laws. Now that's what you have to answer for yourself. Are you a nation of laws, or do we make special exceptions for illegals, like Mr. Reagan did? I say no. We have enough systems in this country to not only build a wall with the technology we need and to enforce our laws, but to begin to remove the illegals from our country. Nobody benefits in this country from making a law. Nobody. And I don't think illegals should either. So no, no child, no adult that gets anything from us except a way out. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. As you know, in my opening remarks, my wife is a citizen and we did it the right way. To your question, no. I am humane, and I feel bad that this has happened. We have a rule of law there for a reason. It's no to amnesty and no to the DREAM Act. Period. End of discussion. On my table, I have a detailed plan. I have publicly put this out of how to deal with border security, how to deal with the illegal immigrants in this country. We as a nation cannot afford to round up all the illegals from anywhere from 12 million to 20 million, because that will be almost equal to our national debt today. My plan lists a way of dealing with this. They're not going to get a free ride. It took 10 years for my wife to become a citizen at $10,000. It is not cheap. These people in this country want it, you're going to pay for it. Plain and simple. And you're going to start paying the people that created the mess. And we need to start getting them to start paying our government back and the private sector back for all this. And it's also time to start punishing the American industry that hires an illegal alien. Because if you don't go after the source that hires them, they'll continue to hire them. Let's fine these companies big time, because then they'll get the message to stop hiring them. When you do that, we won't have as many problems coming across the border. But then we have Congress who says, let's build a fence. How many of you have been to Yuma? The fence out there is built with waves so the breeze can go through. It's also a ladder to come right up and over. Common sense. Folks, what all politics is about, electing the right people, is called common sense. And Thomas Paine wrote that years ago, and I'm telling you, Congress for the last 50, 60 years have forgotten common sense. Let's bring common sense back. Thank you.